Hi guys, it's Angie Bell with My Fairy Treasures. Okay guys, what I'm coming at you with, this is going to be my Traveler's Notebook planner for the year. So I'm gonna have, I've been having my planner as a Traveler's, the Midori style or the Traveler's Notebook style. So instead of having the binder, I like to have this kind. So what I did is I'm going to lay a bunch of more laces and fabrics on here, but this is my base, okay? And let me show you when I start layering some pieces on here what it's gonna end up looking like. These aren't glued on. It's on my phone. Just a second, guys. Okay. When I start layering all my laces and stuff and appliques and all the stuff, it's gonna look like something like that, okay? And so, what the base of this whole thing is, I'm trying to make sure I start explaining myself. This is a Dollar Tree placemat, okay? And then what I did, let me go ahead and show you this. This was a Dollar Tree placemat. Let me get a placemat out so you guys can see what the heck I'm talking about. It was just an ordinary placemat like this, okay? So, just a second. I'm looking for my mirror to make sure I'm in focus. Well, I have another one over here. Okay. So, I use a Dollar Tree placemat. So then what I do with that is I'm going to take this placemat away. I took a piece of like muslin type of fabric. You can use anything you want. And one side I used with the print. And this is some muslin that has like a chintz print on it that I got at a thrift store. You could just use a plain piece of muslin or fabric or whatever you have. You could use some old jeans. You could use sheets, whatever you have. But I want this to be the inside of my Midori. So that's why that's on the inside. And then, well, I did it the same on both sides. And I had the print on both sides. Because this, on the other side, it's going to get covered up anyway with all of my laces and doilies and all of that. So what I did is I used this Mod Podge fabric tissue glue. And that's how I glued the fabric onto the placemat. And the reason you want to use the placemat is because you need something that's sturdy. And it's not all, you know, if you just used fabric, your Midori planner or your Traveler's Notebook planner would just be, you know, you wouldn't have enough firmness. So this gives it the firmness that you need for your planner, for it to be a planner. And this is the stuff I used. Now, you can use all kinds of different things to glue fabric onto these placemats, but that's the one I used. I actually got it at a garage sale one day, and I've had it in my stash forever, so I finally was able to use it. Okay, so what I did is I haven't cut this out yet. I glued this side, I cut this side out from the fabric. I've glued this onto the other side of the placemat, and I haven't cut this out yet, but I would cut this out, okay? And then I would end up with this right here. How I ended up on with the inside of this. And this is how this looked before I started adding these doilies on, okay? So that's what you end up with. Now, how you get this part here with the holes, I have a video where I've already done that. And, okay, right here, let me bring this up to the, see the holes right there? And then the elastic bands. I have a whole video on how you do that. And I will attach that video onto this one. Okay, guys? I just wanted to, I don't want to do that in this video because it would take too much time. But I will, like I said, I'll attach the other video. What I also did in here is you'll have some pieces left over after you cut the placemat out to this size. And how you do that is I have a master template, which I have in the video that's below, and I teach you how to make this master template. Well, once you do that, you have a lot of placemat left over. So I took some placemat that I had left over and I made a little pocket. I just took a little bit of hot glue and just hot glued that on, and now see, that's a pocket right there. See? Then what I want to do is, this time I didn't use the part of the placemat. I just took some of the fabric again, and I have a stamp. It's a postal stamp. I love this stamp, you guys. It is so fabulous. Let you guys look at that. Isn't that cool? I love it. So vintage. Keep your eye out for stuff like this at Michael's, Joann's. Use a coupon, or when they're on sale or clearance, pick those up. And I made it big enough, and I put a back. I put 2 pieces of this chintz fabric, muslin fabric together. Then I stamped it, and then I sewed it on my sewing machine together, just so it have a little extra thickness. That can fit right here, and I will hot glue that in as a pocket. Okay, and then I'll probably put some trims right here. Trying to see if I have some trim. I like this. I'll probably put some trim on it right here at the top. Okay, like that. I might put some trim at the bottom. I may not. I may leave it, because I love things to get frayed. This is a very vintagey, shabby, chic type of project. So things are not going to be perfect. Things are going to be left very fringy, very shabby, very vintage, very tattered, torn, worn, like that kind of look. Okay, so, and then what I did on the outside of here, on the outside, is I took a doily. I get these doilies everywhere. I get them at garage sales, thrift stores, from friends, but always be looking at garage sales and thrift stores, and you'll find this stuff. You're not going to find everything at one time, but if you keep your eye out and you're constantly searching, you'll find these type of things. So, and I pick them up for $1, 50 cents, sometimes a big bag full for $5. Just always be looking out. This was dyed with avocado skins. That's another technique, you guys. Look up avocado skin dyeing, avocado dyeing on fabric or laces. There are tons of videos, and it'll teach you how to do it. I even have a video, so when you look it up, you may see my video too. This is another doily that I used avocado skins and dyed that. And then I just put this little piece here. See how it's just roughly done? I want it roughly done because I want it very shabby, very vintage, very shabby chic. Okay? So that's that. So now what I did, and now I can probably sit down as I explained all that. Okay, so now where we're at is here. I have on my sewing machine, and this is what I want to show you, is you don't have to have a ton of laces and doilies and all that to do this. I'm going to show you right now why you don't. If you want to make something like this and you don't have a whole bunch of laces or doilies or appliques yet, I'm going to come in a little closer. Let's see, let's come back a little bit. There we go. What I did is I just took pieces of fabric I have in my stash and I put them together. And I mean loosely put them together. See how shabby this looks? This is a piece of lace, a piece of fabric, and another piece of fabric, I think, underneath, maybe. And I just took my sewing machine and I just sewed around this and made this like little patchy little thing, okay? And you want it to look this shabby. I did it again here. What did I do here? Okay, here I just took a piece of that muslin again that I used on the thing, and I just stamped it. It says creativity is contagious, pass it on. That's another thing, is you can stamp on things and use those on your, as a decorative piece on your thing. So right here what I've done is I have just taken some of this muslin and I've dyed the muslin with some tea bags. I placed it on a piece of burlap. Then I'll go like this and I'll hot glue all that together, and that'll go on here. I then took some piece of fabric I had left over. It's kind of getting all like frayed, which is what I want. Then I took a piece of burlap, a piece of fabric, a piece of lace, another piece of lace here, and just sewed this right together like this on my sewing machine. And the reason you want the sewing gives it just a real vintagey, tattered look. See how this, what the sewing does? That's the look that it gives it. Now, I don't sew the pieces onto my planner. I hot glue that on there. Some people will sew the whole thing together. Well, you can't do it if you're going to use a placemat as your base, you know, because you can't get that through the sewing machine. Here's another one where I took a piece of lace, another piece of lace, and just a little scrap of a applique. This came from the fabric at the bottom. It says the Pierre collection. I just used that, sewed it onto this burlap. You guys see that? Okay, so you guys get what I'm talking about of the things I'm doing. Again, this is another piece where I just took some lace, and then I took a little piece of applique, and then I took my sewing machine and I just kind of sewed this together. I like what the sewing adds to it, so that's why I do that part. Again, I just see what you can see what I did here on this one. Okay, so I'll just kind of show you these ones. Okay. And then I made this really shabby flower, and I'll show you guys in a separate video how to make these shabby flowers. I call them Chrissy Crosser flowers. Look how shabby they are. And they're what it is it's a layer. I can tell you, and some people will be able just to do it right after I tell you. It's a doily. That's what I did first. And if you guys want to get doilies for a cheap price and a really inexpensive way, is be looking at thrift stores and garage sales for tablecloths that are made out of, that look like a bunch of doilies all sewn together. You may not recognize it at first, but if you look at it, there'd be a bunch of round circles all sewn together. They look like this. So buy tablecloths that are all, and they're all usually like these little round doilies, and you can cut them out, and then you'll have a ton of doilies. That's what I did, and I have tons. Then I took a piece of fabric, I cut it in a circle, just a little bit smaller than the doily. Then I took another piece of lace right here and cut that a little bit smaller, and then I just stacked them on top of each other. And then I took this little rosette. You get these at Hobby Lobby. You get them dirt cheap. You get a roll of them for $2 when they're on 50% off. I put that in the middle, and then I took little bits and pieces and hot glued, and I hot glued all these layers together. Then I took little bits of cheesecloth. This is that kind of cheesy cloth stuff from Dollar Tree at Halloween time. This is cheesecloth that I tea-dyed. I take little bits of that. I take little bits of whatever I have left over in my stash. Little bits of fabric, little bits of what is this? A doily, little bits of fabric, whatever, and I just shove them in here, and that's how you make this flower. Isn't that fabulous? I love these kind of flowers. Okay, so what I want to do is I want to show you how I'm going to put all of these pieces on here. I'm going to do that on camera, and I'll probably finish it up off camera, and then I'm going to show you how I create my inserts in here. And I'll show you that probably in the second part, and I'll probably have it all put in, and then I'll just tell you how I did it. So, because there's a lot of moving parts of this video, and, you know, this video could be like, you know, 5 hours long if I let it. Okay, so let me see how much time I have on my timer here still. Okay, so we can work for about 15 minutes. You can watch me just putting the appliques, all the little pieces that I created on here. Another thing I like to do is, on my phone, you saw me that I took a picture. I like to take a picture because then it shows me kind of how I had things before. So, because I had some stuff laid out kind of how I liked it. Okay, so I'm just going to start laying some pieces out again. Okay, like that goes up there. I'm going to put this. Put this right here. We'll place that one right there. Oh, no, we'll place that one up there. This one, no. You'll know when you do things right or wrong or how you like them once you get them in there. There we go. That's how I'm going to do that one. I'm going to place that on top of there. I'm going to place that there. And this is the thing. Be a little haphazard about how you do this kind of work, because kind of the more haphazard you are, the prettier these kind of projects come out. Okay, and then this here, and okay, so I'm going to start gluing some of this stuff in. some of this stuff on. So I have that there. So let me start gluing some of this in. Okay, here we go. But I wanted to show my process of doing this because I could see, you know, I'm going to be doing some plan with me's in my Midori planner here. And I could see people being like, okay, well, how'd you make that, you know? So I thought, you know, let me share my process with you guys of how I'm doing it. And if you're interested in making one like this, you can do it. Now, I said I was going to leave a video on how you make the Midori planner out of the placemat. You could do just that and not add all of this fabric stuff to it, because that makes a beautiful Midori Traveler's Notebook type of style planner also. So, like this one, I'll show you. In case you haven't seen that video. Hopefully I have one. Yeah, I have one right here. Okay, like I show you how to make these. And this is how the planner would look. This planner right here would look if I wasn't adding all this stuff on it. Okay, so you can make, I show you how to make these. And then inside, I have different inserts in here. And one of your inserts could be a, could be your calendar and all of that inside of here. And I'm going to show you how I make those inserts too. So, okay. Moving on. I was a little bit nervous about making this video just because there's so many moving parts of this video. But I thought, you know what, if I could just do the bulk of the video and show you how I'm doing the stuff, then anybody who wants to start doing work like this can, who hasn't done it before and was kind of curious about it. And how I do anything here is not the only way. Believe me, projects like this, any crafting or arting is like that. But especially stuff like this. You can do something like this. It's never going to turn out exactly how I do mine. You don't have, I mean, we all have different ways of doing it. We all have different laces and fabrics and ideas. But this gives you a nice little base, an idea, an inspiration if you want to do one of these yourself. I think I want to do that on top of there. Yeah, I do. Okay. Wait a minute, 1 second, guys. I gotta lay this in here. And there was a lot of prep, you know, not a lot, but quite a bit of prep work before it, because I first, you know, had to make the Midori, and then I had to put the elastic bands inside and cover up the placemat, and then I sewed all of these pieces together, how I told you I did. So there was some prep work before I came on to show you this. But we've gone over the prep work, and none of it's hard at all. And it's really, I love it. Like I always do, it's more collage if you think about it. But instead of using paper or ephemera or any of that kind of stuff, I'm using fabric. So it's still really, let me get this on here real quick, guys. It's still really collage, just with fabric and laces and appliques. People think I do so many different things, and if you really look, a lot of my work, some things are different, but a lot of my work is collage. It's putting a bunch of crap together. Okay, then we're gonna do, let me see if I want to, where I want to put this at, right here, or I want this here, that there, and then this on top of here. Yeah, I think that's what I want to do. Okay. Oh, and actually, what am I doing? I want to put this one here first, so I need to glue that one down. And you guys, I am going quite a bit faster because I'm on camera. I don't usually work this fast. So I probably should work this fast. I could get more projects done. So you don't have to worry. You don't have to work this fast. I don't normally, like I said, I don't normally work quite this fast. But I want to show you guys there's only so much time on when you're making a video. Okay. And then I'm going to put this piece like that. Ooh, I like it like that. See how I just came up with it? I was going to do it like this, but look how much it takes up. This is better. In fact, what I want to do is I'm going to layer that with a piece of cheesecloth first, like this, and then lay this on top of the cheesecloth. Look how cool that looks. Let's make sure that camera's still going. How much time we have. Okay, we got about 4 more minutes in this first part of the video. And make sure you get yourself one of these spatulas from Dollar Tree, because it will save your hands, save your fingers. Especially when you're working with stuff like this that has tons of holes in it, like cheesecloth. This has tons of holes. And it will go, this hot glue will go right through this cheesecloth, right to your hands. And you will not be happy. And make sure you get the kind that's like the non-stick spatula, so that all this hot glue will come right off of it. And your project doesn't end up sticking to it or anything. Okay. Then I want to take that and put that right on top of there. Okay. Gotta be careful not to hit any hot glue on my fingers. Okay. Let's try to scoot this over. Okay, we'll go right here. Hey, this plopped down like this, so we'll go with it. Alright, there we go. It wasn't where I was going to put it at, but let's see if I can't get it over a little bit more. Okay. And then I'm just going to cut this a little bit, and I'm going to cut it all like jaggedly so it doesn't look straight or whatever. Yeah, there we go. And see, I like how this is all, this cheesecloth is just all like, looks very messy. Very good. And then I want to put this right here and put this here where it says creativity is contagious, pass it on. So what I have here is I have burlap. We're going to place that in here right now. Oh, I'm getting low on my damn glue sticks. We're going to place that on right there. Boy, I have some more glue sticks in here. You know I don't. I have to go grab some in the other room. Okay, I'm going to put you guys on pause, and I'm going to go grab some glue sticks. Okay, you guys, I had to go grab some glue sticks. All right, so then what we want to do is I'm going to glue this down. Now, I'm going to go ahead and talk a little bit because my camera is about to turn off pretty soon. We're going to go on to part 2. But in part 2, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to add some different things. I'm going to add this in. I'm not going to glue it in right now, just so I can show you. This is going to be added in right here, just because I think it looks pretty. I'm going to add this flower on here. I'm going to add pieces of cheesecloth and this in between areas to make it look more shabby and more torn and tattered. I may add this in. I'm going to add some pieces like this. These are all leftover bits that I never throw away. Those are going to be added in. I'm going to add in some buttons. Okay? So, that's what I'm going to do when we're off of, when I'm off camera. So, part 2, you're going to see this completed with that kind of stuff added on, the little bit of embellishments. Then also, I'm going to show you the inserts. They'll be put inside, and I'll tell you guys how I did the inserts, okay? So this, I wanted to give you guys a good sampling of how I did this. So if you want to make one of these, you can. And that's it. So, okay, you guys, go ahead and let's go ahead and go to part 2, and then that's where we'll be picking it up at, with This will be embellished. I'll show you about the inserts inside and how to make those. And I will see you guys in part 2. Okay? All right.